The prosecution rests. Aber war der Gary Dipp das dann? Ist er der wirkliche Mörder? Weil ich kann mir das nicht vorstellen, weil er ist doch auch, kann doch nicht richtig laufen. Can't find anything out of place, okay. Oh, okay, das ist ja aber, das ist ja schon... meint er nicht, dass es irgendwie verbrannt ist oder so? Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burned. You're right. You'd never be able to read it in the state, especially not the letter pages. Eyes up! What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. A book. Recently damaged by fire. Why does it seem to raise a red flag with me? The fourth book's information has been updated in the court record. A book entitled The Lion's White is covered in the victim's hand at the scene. The back cover is badly burned. The prosecution rests. I have nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious long I allude to the accused lodgings that you tried to establish in your summation examination, and the attempted discrediting of the witness' power of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile. I walked right into this, didn't I? Futile ist doch irgendwas auch dümmlich oder so. Futile. Nutzlos, okay. Nutzlos. You see? Everything we've said is true. Isn't that right, my darling? Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat. So, perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions. Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. This trial has run its course. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid we are in a terrible precarious position. I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could very well just make matters worse. Think, Ryunosuke, think. What do I do now? Raise an objection.
Objection!
I'm not done yet. No, my learned friend. It's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There's no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... Arg, I can't think of what to say. If I may, Lord von Zieks, it seems somewhat bullish to close down the debate at this point. Your insignificant little Ethan Isle must be a lawless soul indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh! I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Mr. Naruhodo. One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance, so the court will hear you, madam. Go ahead, Mr. Sato, please. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have you all overlooked in this matter, that you see fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished. I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course, he is sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Das haben wir schon gemacht. Yes, I understand. And thank you, Mr. Sato. Und gucken wir mal. Okay, da sieht man leider nicht, ob es schon verbrannt war oder nicht. Wir wissen, dass es verbrannt wurde. This is it. Susato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked. The fourth book.
Take that!
The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The fourth book, found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know. Ah! Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear? Oh, yes, my lord. It's, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence, which means you may very well be on the right track. Yes, I think you might be right. So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue to this case, which this fourth book conceals? Hier hinten.
Got it!
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? What do you... Good gracious! It's been burnt to a crisp. So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? Oh! Were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there's nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this shared book hide? A shared book. Ist es ausgesprochen? Oder eher charred? Verkohlt heißt das. Und wie wird es ausgesprochen?
Charred.
Okay, a charred book. There's just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage the sorry tome has suffered? The shop that sold it, its owner. My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner. I beg your pardon, but we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor after all. It's obviously hers. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers. Good gracious, how can you possibly... Very well, I play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry. Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book? Es ist niemand geringerer als John Garrideb.
Take that!
The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who owns the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Miss Garrideb. The landlords. And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for the jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Miss Garrideb herself. Oh my goodness. Me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garrideb's wife. I'm his maid. Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garrideb's house? I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused landlady, you say? You implicate this hardworking member of the public. You besmirched her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection!
This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Miss Garrideb's house. Good lord! What sort of incident, counsel? A fire, my lord. Oh yeah. Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know? The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for this fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride. By Jove! The very same title that's the subject of this debate. Oh dear me!
Objection!
This is risible. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burned to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Garrideb was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garrideb even amidst the flames. Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Rolly? Absolutely not, sir. My favorite would never raise a finger against me, sir. Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Then the wife started hurling things at me. There was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him. Goodness gracious! Are you suggesting that a book was thrown through the window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident, and there's no report of the Garrideb's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garrideb household. But is it not conceivable that the window was open at the time and not even remotely? Let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. Ja stimmt, das hat sie ja selber gesagt, dass sie niemals das Fenster öffnen würde im kalten London. Müsste dann ziemlich drin stinken, würde ich sagen. Aber gut. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. Ja. Does the defense postulate the scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garrett's wife? I believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough! Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward. Really? Claiming that our little tip sets the whole neighborhood alight, honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case, not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name. No, I assure you, that was never my intention. Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears. That's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable. Too wide. Here we go. How long have we sat here now, listening to this nippany spouting out his fancy foreign theories? But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with a moustache, and he ran away from the scene too. I do declare you're right. It's true. Yes, what did I tell you? Makes sense to me. Sorry? What's that? Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full arrangement. What is your position, Lord Van Zieks? In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessary protracted proceedings. But then, one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait! The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. What? No forgive the discourtesy this time. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Oh no. Thank you for that unambiguous response. That's twice now. It's over. Mr. Naruhodo, don't give up. Wer war das? Miss Susato. Have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. You're not suggesting. Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. Da würde ich mich dann aber ja auch als Staatsanwalt irgendwie verarscht vorkommen. You could still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance. My lord, the defense asks to exercise its right to a summation examination. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve. I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. This is no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. To be continued, als ob. Okay. Save your current progress, yes. Adventure of the Cloud Kokoro, yes. Ich weiß immer noch nicht, was Kokoro ist. Ja, ich würde sagen, wir machen erstmal einen kurzen Stopp hier bei der Aufnahmesession und dann machen wir gleich weiter. Also, bis gleich, ne? Bis morgen. Und ja. Bis dann. Bis gleich und Einspruch und so, ne? Peace out.